Hey guys, Gino Zero. Sorry about being a mess. I'm all sweaty and stinky and dirty. I apologize about that, but it was about 6,000 degrees here today. So, but I was thinking today, you know, I realized that when and if an SHTF situation happens, and there's a big another depression type of situation, I realize that the chronically ill folks and the people who have serious illnesses are probably not going to make it, and that's just, you know, honest. That's real. And I think about that a lot with my wife, you know, especially since she's, you know, got type 2 diabetes, and she used to have to take insulin a couple times a day. But I've taken care of that with diet, just watching when and what she eats and keeping track of her blood. She doesn't have to have insulin anymore with her type 2 diabetes. And I realize not everybody can do that. There's a lot of folks that just, you know, there's nothing they can do about it. But a lot of people out there can take care of themselves just through bettering their diet and the way that they eat. You know, I've lost over the past couple of years quite a bit of weight. You know, and people ask me like, man, you know, what are you doing to lose? You know, you're losing weight. You look good. What are you doing? I'm like, well, don't eat so much. It's pretty simple. You know, it works for me, and it probably would work for a big majority of the people who are overweight out there. But the people that really concern me, I mean, we all understand, being preppers, that those kind of people are probably going to die. But there's a whole other group of people that are probably going to die as well, and they're not going to make it. And they're the uneducated and unprepared people, the people who don't feel the need to learn basic stuff, basic wild edibles, basic ways to filter water, basic places to look for water. I mean, if you take somebody who's not prepared, he's somebody who depends on, you know, the world to take care of them, they get out on one of these back roads and their car breaks down and they go to get their cell phone to call for help and it doesn't work. Well, you know, out here you could be on some of these old roads for a long time before somebody drives up and down them. And if we are in an SHTF situation, those are going to be the kind of people, and it really bothers me to think about this, those folks are going to curl up, they're going to just curl up on the side of the road and die laying right next to something that they can eat and live, and they will not even realize it. You know, they're going to lay down and curl up along a dried creek bed and die from dehydration while they're sitting next to a willow tree, not knowing that all they got to do is get a stick and dig down for a little ways, and they're probably going to find some sort of moisture. You know, they may drink some bad water and get dysentery or get some, you know, some gut problems going on, and not realize that they can eat, you know, make tea out of blackberry leaves or certain other kinds of wild medicinal stuffs and get themselves better. And instead of doing just basic education, they're just going to curl up and die. And that bothers me. And I realize that those kinds of people with that mentality are probably not going to be watching our YouTube channels and our YouTube videos where we're trying to teach people. So it's kind of our responsibility when we see folks like that to try to, I don't know if you're going to call it wake them up or educate them or what it is. And I know it's really difficult because people get in that mindset. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's going to be fine. You know, I got my cell phone. I got my iPad. It's going to be just fine. You know, FEMA will come and give us water, and Red Cross. And I don't think people realize how bad it can be. You know, I don't think they really understand how bad it can get, and that there are a lot of bad people. Even if there is a FEMA truck that makes it out here on the road, what's to say that there's not going to be some thugs out here who jump that FEMA driver and take the truck for themselves and all that supplies and stuff? You know, I mean, stuff like that is going to happen. It's going to happen a lot. So I was thinking, I have a friend who just simply refuses to listen to reason. Whenever I try to tell him, you know, I bought a pack of pork chops this time last year and it was $7. I bought a pack of pork chops yesterday, the same pork chops, and it was $12. I mean, how can he not see that that's the way that things are headed? So I think his birthday is coming up next month. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy him one of those books like on wild edibles or something like that. And he will probably just throw it onto his shelf, maybe glance to it or something like that. But if the S does HTF, then he will be able to go to his, and he'll say, hey, I remember that book that fat guy gave me. you know, maybe I got something out here that I can eat. You know, my kids are hungry and there's no FEMA truck, but I got this book. Let me go look at it real quick and see. Oh, look, I can eat dandelions. I can eat blackberries. I can eat poke salad. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards as far as what I'm going to start doing for folks who don't think the same way that we think when it comes to preparedness and educating and survival skills. I've had a couple of messages with people say, you know, my brother or my family or my cousin or somebody, they won't see the world the way that I see. You know, how do you do that? I mean, well, you can't, you know, smack them in the face and tell them to wake up, because that's not going to work. That's just going to create animosity. You got to try to figure out a way to do it subtly and give them stuff that they're going to need as far as references. You know, maybe a book on water purification, or a book on wild edibles, or a book on basic, you know, food storage, or something like that. And they'll look at it and they'll be like, oh, gee, thanks, yeah, great book, great present, whatever. And they'll throw it on their shelf. But it's on their shelf. Rather than them not having anything at all, they have that on their shelf that they will hopefully remember. So, but it bothers me to think about those people, you know, who are just going to curl up and die somewhere right next to something that can save them. And I have trouble with that. And I know we can't save the world. And if the poo hits the fan, it's going to be really, really, really difficult to, you know, to turn people away when they come, you know, and they have a family that's starving and they're knocking on your door, please help us. You know, my family comes first. And if I don't have anything extra, then I'm going to send them away. And if they don't go away peacefully, then they're going to have a bad day. And it's going to be really difficult to be in that position, you know. So I think the more people that we can educate subtly, and instead of trying to preach at them and tell them, you got to do it, you got to do it, you got to do it. Maybe just get them a, you know, a little pocket manual or something like that. I think that's what I'm going to start doing. So let me know what you guys think, and maybe we can get something going here as far as, you know, the. Sorry about that, guys. My memory card filled up and my camera shut off on me. So, like I say, let me know what you guys think about, you know, is this a good way to try to approach people about not necessarily prepping, but just, you know, getting ready, you know, just having the basic knowledge available to them. If you guys have different ideas about, you know, how to approach somebody, you know, feel free to leave some comments. And this is something else that we as a community can probably make a big difference in. But it's going to be all about how we approach it and how we present it. Because we all know what a great job National Geographic is doing with their doomsday preppers, huh? So it's going to be up to us. It's going to be up to us to get our point across, and not some mass media who makes us look like a bunch of blubbering idiots who got tons of money to spend on underground bunkers or whatever the crap they're talking about. So, all right, guys, the end.